I am back with another story, and today I will be sharing something so devious, so dark, so manipulative that my covert narcissistic mother has just done to me. It is so shocking, yet I'm not surprised at all. Let's begin. There is one particular story from my childhood about my dad that made me very proud. And I used to share that story with everyone, with my partner. And recently, I retold that story to my parents. Apparently, I had the facts wrong. So let me start by explaining to you why the facts were mixed up. So I was young. I was probably 7 or 8. And I remember we went to this mountain town. They had this mountain river, a waterfall. The water was freezing cold. I remember I just got in and out. I couldn't swim in that water. It would probably cause hypothermia or something. It was really, really, really freezing cold. That I remember. And it was so clean that 20 feet deep under the waterfall, you could see the bottom. And you could see these big, large, white and light gray stones that created the bed of this river. And the stones went all around the river. So we sat on the stones. So it was my mom, my dad, my mom's sister, her 2 children, and her husband. And my dad always dives. He dives. He has this equipment. He used to love to dive, and he still does. So there was this lady who started screaming that she lost her gold bracelet, a piece of jewelry, real gold bracelet. So my dad, being this hero man that I know, put on the mask and dove all the way to the bottom, which made me so nervous. I was so scared because it was really dangerous. It was so deep, but he could see clearly everything. It was a sunny day. There were tons of people there. So he got all the way to the bottom. He searched everything. He swam everywhere, 20 feet deep. He got out and he found her bracelet. I couldn't believe it. I was so happy. I was so proud of him. And I felt so cool. It made me feel very cool and proud of my dad. So when I retold this story to my parents, my dad said, first off, it was a pair of earrings that she lost, and I never found them. What do you mean you never found them? I told this story to 100 people. So apparently my brain, because of how proud it felt about my dad, added this extra bonus win for him in his favor that he actually succeeded. So in my memory, because I was so proud, so ecstatic about how kind and heroic my dad was, my memory rewrote the facts to add this fact that he found that bracelet. I am obsessed with bracelets. I'm obsessed with all jewelry. You can check out my main channel in the description. So if you're new here and you don't know about my main channel, this is my second channel. So the first channel, it's a rabbit hole. So my dad got the facts straight with me, and I told him that it doesn't change the fact that I was very proud of you. So my mom took that and rewrote everything I ever complained about, every pain I ever vocalized, everything that she has ever done wrong, as if I have amnesia, like I'm stupid or something. She holds this now against me, and she brainwashed my dad that when I was telling them another story, I was sharing another happy memory with them because they're about to come and visit. So I wanted to share something pleasant. And my dad chimes in and says, "Are you sure that's how it went, or this is just something you imagined?" Dude, I gave you a credit. I literally made up shit to make you look better for me in my memory, in my mind, in my little psyche. Take the credit. Dude, now you're attacking me because my evil, devious, manipulative, I can't even call her mother. She is an egg donor. That's the best I can do. A biological I don't know, eggshell in which I developed. I cannot call her mom after this because I think it is normal. I think this is okay if you feel a certain way to make it, to color it, to make it more dramatic, to accentuate things you're proud of, you're happy about, or you're sad about. But the most important thing that she leaves out is how I felt in that moment. Why I made up that lie in my mind, why my memory rewrote the facts to make my dad to be more, I don't know, glorified, more heroic, because I am proud of my dad. I really love my dad. Like, we have a good relationship. Thank God he told me he loved me once in a while, so I'm not a whore. But my mom never did. So it's important how I felt. To me, it's important how I felt. I trust how I felt, not necessarily the facts. Okay, maybe I added that fact in, but in the previous episode, if you haven't watched it, you have to see it. I actually shared 2 stories in that one that were absolutely insane from my childhood. I highly recommend that video. So those stories have proof to back them up. So I have pictures that I'm still ashamed of until this day. And then I have pictures of me with tiny short hair and from that party where my mom flattened my own curls. Like, I have memorabilia from those horrific, horrendous moments from my childhood. But I don't have a video or a picture of my dad diving. I just remember he did dive. The woman did lose a piece of jewelry, her piece of jewelry. It wasn't a bracelet, it was a pair of earrings, and he didn't find it. But I remember being scared for him, being very worried about him because the water was so cold, it was very deep, and I could see him from the surface because the water was so clean. So I was right about him diving. I was right about the jewelry piece. I just made him win at the end. You know, like a hero in my book, in my memory book. So I made him win. And my mom now twisted that around to manipulate my dad into not believing anything I say, because when she abused me, when she called me names, when she cussed me out, when she belittled me, when she lectured me for hours and hours with using horrible, horrible names to call me, that YouTube would delete this video in a heartbeat if I used any of those words. She did that in private. So before my dad got home from work, when he got home from work, she would complain about me not being compliant, not being obedient, not being apologetic enough because I did something. And all she did was lecture me, and I was quiet in my room. I couldn't talk back. I just had to endure this abuse. I just had to suck it up. And then when he came home, she would complain to him about me. So he would become abusive, verbally abusive, and sometimes physically abusive, and abusive to my belongings, to my things, to the things in my room. He would literally have to parent me because she played this victim. Like, she was home with this monster of a child when all she did was call me names and criticize me. So she would just project her internal image onto me. And because I didn't reciprocate, because I didn't say anything, because I didn't fight back, she probably wanted to get something out of me. So she would make my dad be upset at me. And she knew I was afraid of my dad. Like, he was an authority figure for me, so I was afraid of him. But I also know that he's very kind on the inside, and I know that he was manipulated into behaving in that way because he was her flying monkey. Now, literally, it happened a week ago, and now everything I share is being filtered as she doesn't know what she's talking about. That never happened. Because my mom's favorite thing to say is, that never happened. Oh my gosh, that never happened. You had so many dresses, you had so much clothes, you were dressed up, you had a new dress for every day. What? When did that happen? I had 7 dresses because I remember I would go to church every Sunday. I would have a new dress for 7 Sundays, and then I would have to rotate back. That's still a lot of dresses. I'm not complaining. I'm not saying that it wasn't enough dresses. Some were from my parents, some were from my aunts. One was sewn for me by my aunt, one was from my grandma. So a lot of them were handmade. And I'm not appreciating that. But the fact that she makes it sound like I was this princess, glorifying my childhood, when did that happen? So now she has the leverage in any kind of a discussion. She can use that against me because she already brainwashed my dad into not believing anything I say from my childhood. But what's important to remember, if that happens to you, in this video, I'm actually going to help you. I'm going to actually give you an advice. If that happens to you, the most important thing for you not to doubt yourself, because this is very damaging, because you start doubting your own sanity, your own self, your own perception of reality. So in order for you not to ever doubt yourself, you need to remember that how you felt is your truth. How you felt. I felt proud of my dad, regardless of what he did. It was great. I was proud. He was a hero in that moment to me. Then I was afraid of my dad. It doesn't matter what he did, whether he smacked me on the knee or on my butt or on my arm. What matters is the fear. That's my truth. So if I say something from my childhood that I was neglected, I was never hugged, I was never kissed, that ship has sailed. I never bring that up anymore. But she will twist that and say, yeah, well, that's not true. I did hug you and did kiss you. Well, maybe I should have done more, but it's not as bad as you portray it. And now she wins. I should have never, ever shared anything, because now if it's even a little bit untrue, regardless of how I felt, I am a liar. I am distorting the past. In reality, she is, because how I felt was how I felt. You can't take that away from me. And she is trying now to take that away from me because I made my dad win in that specific moment. I made him be a hero in that story where he was still heroic, but he didn't find the bracelets. He's essentially a loser. But none of that matters anymore, because now I'm a liar and I will always be a liar, and that will always be used against me. So if you could, don't share anything that has so many specific details from the past, because some of those details might be wrong. Half of that detail might be wrong, and you will forever be a liar. That's what happened to me. That's my fault. I blame myself, but I know that I know my truth. I know how I felt is valid. And that's what I'm going to stick to, because your feelings from your childhood, the way you felt, is not something that can be rewritten. That's the way you felt. That's a fact. And the little details can be misremembered, can be misplaced in your memory somehow, but not the way you felt. So stick to the way you felt, because that's your truth. If this video was helpful to you, I'm glad. Give this video a like, send it to someone, and subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow this channel because I feel like the more people see the shit I've been through, the more people will feel like they're not the only one and they're not alone. And hopefully they can share their stories in the comments down below. Share your stories, similar stories, or any stories, really. This is your outlet. This is my outlet. Use it as yours as well. Anyway, I'll see you next time.